Hi, is this Wendell?
Yeah.
Hi, Wendell. This is John Simcoe calling you from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
All right. So, as you know, the theme for this upcoming project for the Junior Dispatch is about the call of the wild and at the same time the Iditarod.
Right.
And you are an illustrator of a very fabulous edition of Call of the Wild.
Yeah. That was my favorite book when I was in 6th grade. My teacher read it to us in installments over the course of a year, and it was just, it stayed with me my entire life.
And when you got a chance to do it, how did they ask you?
The publisher had plans to go back and revisit some classics in new editions of the Scribner's Classics series, for which people know, the great M.C. Wyeth, Treasure Island, and a number of great classics. So the tradition of American illustration in that series was really terrific. And they asked me if I would be interested in re-illustrating Call of the Wild, and I couldn't believe it because, I remember my 6th grade teacher reading it and imagining all these images when I was 12, and I thought, well, here I am, 4 decades later, I get a chance to paint those images. So it was the first Scribner's Classic to be reissued in 59 years.
This by far was not your first book. You've illustrated how many books and covers of books?
Oh, about 2,000 covers over the last 4 decades and about 50 books.
That keeps you busy.
Books, yeah.
How did you get started in illustration and your art and all that?
Well, I am what I would like to describe as a recovering dyslexic. As a child going through grade school, I had a difficult time reading. My world was basically very visual. I was a daydreamer. I was one of the kids who always looked out at the clouds, in my classroom through the school windows, and my world was basically oriented to drawing pictures, and reading came later, of course, with special reading help. But I knew by the time I was in 4th grade, I had a talent that impressed my classmates. I would draw a picture, and they would say, "Oh, you really didn't draw that. It's really too good." And I thought, well, gee, maybe there's something here. So I made the decision at the age of 9 that I was going to grow up and be an artist someday.
And did you ever have any other careers in mind during that time, or?
Absolutely not. I shouldn't say that. I think one of my other desires was to fly. I thought being a pilot would be terrific, but I never managed to get that accomplished. But to my way of thinking, painting is, in a sense, like flying. You go off into your own world and create a magical place for yourself.
And how was school for you, both in your early schooling and later on when you had to pay for school in college?
Well, school was always a struggle because I struggled with reading. I had special reading classes and so forth, and I persevered and had some dedicated teachers who really did help me get through. But when I decided to go to art school, I chose a school that specialized in lots of painting and drawing, and that was Ringling School of Art, now called Ringling College of Art. And it was basically 3 years of intensive drawing and painting, which would have been the equivalent of 6 years of college courses in the same time period. And I decided that I really would leave my education to my own time frame. So I decided that I would never stop reading, and eventually found subjects and projects that really coincided with my interest, which is basically history and biography and nature.